Welcome to Take Command. And what do I mean by take command? I don't mean being a Superman or a Superwoman, and I certainly don't mean someone who will arbitrarily be in charge of everything around them. The best symbol I can think of for being in command is perhaps the bamboo reed, which is a sign of strength in the Chinese culture, because it stands straight and erect and strong, but it also moves and bends with the wind. It has strength and flexibility, and as I've called it in many things I've written, it has resilience. This is the image of being in command I want you to have. I'm Frederic Flach, and I'd like to really thank you, number one, for embarking upon what I hope will be for you an exciting, rewarding, and truly enriching experience. By listening to these next 32 tapes, and maybe for the first time, really making a commitment to living fully and completely and being in command of all the various aspects of your life. Another reason I've chosen the phrase take command is because one of the things I hope to achieve is to strengthen your ability to deal with our most serious psychological enemies. These enemies are helplessness, hopelessness, fear, confusion, aimlessness, apathy, resentment. Not only does every one of these mental and emotional states seriously impinge upon your physical health, the quality of your life, and your overall happiness, they keep all of us from achieving the level of spiritual, psychological, material success that every one of us can achieve if we put our minds and hearts to it. Each one of us is given the right to live our lives responsibly the way we want to. And to do that, to be what we want to be, and do what we want to do, and achieve what we want to achieve, we need as much self-knowledge as we can get. A process that's a never-ending process and that goes on and on throughout all our lives. Some of you may already be dedicated to learning as much about yourselves as possible, and about the people in your lives, and your work, and your careers, and the material and spiritual goals you set for yourself. For some of you, this may be an ice-breaking experience. You've taken a risk. You've decided to join us in an approach to overcoming life's obstacles and taking advantage of life's windows of opportunity. Dealing more effectively with stresses and difficulties, getting out of bad situations that threaten your self-esteem and your very health, and choosing directions and taking actions that will enable you to be successful, whatever your definition of success is at this point in your life. And I'll be helping you clarify that definition and know more clearly what it is that you're after. And not just successful, not just wealthy, not just winning in life, but to be successful and be happy being successful and sharing your success with those you love in this world. And it's not only a matter of doing more, having more, accomplishing more. I'm going to show you how vital it is for you to be in command of yourself and your life in order for you to be mentally and physically healthy. Believe it or not, your attitudes, your mindsets, how you handle your emotions, the degree to which you can deal with feelings of helplessness and overcome them and be in command, has a proven effect on how well you'll be and the overall quality of your life. And I mean physically too. What you gain from this program may, for some of you, make the difference between life and death. To be in command, to be an in-command person, we have to have an understanding of the kinds of personal qualities that are essential for us to get there, the strengths that we must develop in ourselves. In this program, I'm going to tell you what these strengths are. They're the very qualities that I've spent 40 years helping people develop: counseling, teaching, writing. The qualities that can give you the insight and flexibility and courage and hope to face the challenges of life, good and bad, to overcome them, to turn defeat into opportunity, to know where you're going and have the means to get there. And I'm going to be talking about your relationships with people in your life because most of us are people. We're profoundly influenced and impacted by the people around us, those we love, heroes, models, parents, children, the people we work with and for and who work for us. We are people. It's important for us to learn more about these relationships, realizing that always, even as people affect us, we affect them. And we really should regard them and treat them the way we want to be regarded and dealt with ourselves. Trust, generosity, inspiration. We have to know what's fair. We have to know how to communicate effectively. We have to know how to express our feelings and emotions. And we have to know how to get rid of resentments by a process known as forgiveness. Over the years, I myself have had to work to learn many of these in-command qualities that are being presented to you on these tapes, and I am still learning. And let me point out that if you try to learn these strategies in a purely mechanical way, without really giving them thought and without understanding what they really mean, the benefits you derive are likely to be very transitory. I mean, not unlike people who go on fad diets. They lose a few pounds, maybe even quickly, and that's fine. But unless they make an inner commitment to a true lifestyle change, they may soon be right back where they started. It's the same with what I'm talking about on these tapes. They must be practiced and thought about and practiced again and again. And you must make a commitment to these changes, these improvements, to learning for the rest of your life. To make these changes a more permanent part of your approach to life, you'll have to achieve two sets of goals. First, concrete action goals. Concrete action goals. Those tangible goals we go after by taking certain well-defined steps. Like learning how to ride a bike when you were a kid. You start with a tricycle, then graduate to training wheels, and finally to a 10-speed. But once you learn, it's a skill you'll always have. And one of my main goals in the program is to help you define your own concrete action goals and develop the inner strength to pursue and achieve them, whatever they may be. The second kind of goals are character goals. Character goals, what I call the in-command qualities, like empathy, creativity, discipline. I'll be going into detail about these in the next tape, and as you listen, you can begin to make an assessment of yourself. Which qualities you already have, which you seem to lack, which are well developed, which are not, and how to begin to cultivate those that are important to your becoming an in-command person. An important difference between concrete action goals and character in-command quality goals is that each of us has the power to look into ourselves and find our in-command traits or our potential for in-command qualities at any time, whenever we choose to do so. For example, we can decide to be honest and practice being honest. Or we can decide to be open-minded, empathetic, or forgiving, and practice being open-minded, empathetic, or forgiving. We can begin to commit ourselves to life, to our relationships, to our work, to the lifelong process of learning. Nor should we expect to develop these qualities all at once. You won't suddenly magically acquire a high level of discipline or creativity in 30 hours or 30 days. No matter what anybody tells you, there's no such thing as magic, and there's no such thing as overnight success and change and achievement without putting in time and energy and work. But each and every one of us does have within us the in-command potential, the power to cultivate in-command qualities and use them over and over again until we make them an integral part of our character. Each time we exercise them and reflect on the experience and understand what it is we've accomplished, we strengthen them. And it's that much easier to muster courage or hope or creativity and use them the next time around. Now, you can't just will the in-command qualities. And you just can't will your concrete action goals into existence either. You can't just decide you're going to have a conflict-free relationship and have one, or that you're going to make a fortune, or that the spare tire around your middle is just going to up and disappear. What you can do is choose to work toward these specific goals and use your in-command qualities to get there. An important difference between in-command character goals and concrete action goals is that you can usually best develop and strengthen your in-command qualities in the very process of working towards something concrete. In fact, it's really hard to change your personality in a vacuum. Which is why defining healthy concrete action goals is so important right from the beginning of this program. Because in order to develop those valuable in-command qualities, you'll have to find somewhere to do the work by specifying concrete goals that can serve as your context for self-development. Now, every one of you who carries through with this program is going to get something a little different out of it. It all depends on where you're starting from, why you've come to the program, what you need, what you hope to get out of it. I mean, some of you are in crisis right now in your lives. You've lost your job. Someone close to you may have died. You're trying to get on top of some physical disability, or you're trying to break out of a relationship, a love relationship that's destructive. Or you're confused about what kind of work to do or the direction your career should take. You're depressed, you're anxious, or you set out to make that $1 million and you haven't made it yet. Or you feel helpless, demoralized, or you're full of zest and energy and you're looking for ways to channel your enthusiasm into constructive and profitable activities. Maybe you're young and still in school, or maybe you're single or married or divorced or middle-aged or retired or 70 years old and looking for ways to rekindle your old spark. You're trying to get out of debt. You want to know how to increase your chances of being financially solvent, maybe even rich, maybe even very rich. You're looking for meaning in your life. You want to count, and you want your life to count, and on and on. And some of you will already possess many of the qualities that you need to be an in-command person. Some of you will already be well on the road to success. And what this program can do for you is to confirm who you already are and the rightness of the direction you've already taken. I've spoken with hundreds of people over the years about their personal situations, and they come to me confused about themselves, about their futures. And very often, when we're done, they come to realize that the life they're already leading is precisely the one they want, and the one that's best for them. And what they needed was confirmation. But a lot of you will be looking for ways to change, to get going, or get going again, to get rid of attitudes and behaviors, and maybe even get rid of people who are dragging you down and making you feel helpless and discouraged. And one of the major benefits you can derive from the program is to learn what the critical take-command qualities are and how you can begin to develop them in yourself. And the difference between good and bad relationships, and how to make good ones better and reassess, rehabilitate, or rid yourself of those that are destructive. And the same goes for your work and career. Choosing a path that will allow you to play from strength, to use your strongest abilities, to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And you have to accept your limitations, too, because that's part of playing from strength. And most importantly, before you can go out there and get what you want, you have to know what it is that you want. And clarifying this question can be another benefit I hope and expect you'll get out of listening to these tapes. Now, I don't want you to make the mistake of looking at this program as your conventional self-help tape series. That's not where I'm coming from. It's not what I'm about. It's not why I decided to create and present this program. What I want to do is share with you the insights and knowledge and skills that I've developed over 40 years of being a physician and a writer and a lecturer and a teacher. Insight and knowledge and skills that can help you lead a healthier and more fulfilling life. When I was a medical student, I became interested in preventive medicine, keeping patients well, and as a result, diminishing their need for medical services and providing them with a much greater quality of life. With the soaring costs of medical care today, the idea of prevention has never been more critical. And in those days, I was fascinated by the intimate connection between mind and body, our physical health influencing our minds and emotions, and our attitudes, values, behavior patterns affecting our physical well-being. I had the chance to get to know and work closely with many of the great figures in the field of psychological medicine, like Hans Selye, the man who formulated the whole concept of stress. And I became very, very aware, not only through my professional work but in my personal life as well, that one of the greatest enemies of health, wealth, and happiness isn't just stress itself, but how you and I manage stress. I mean, the real enemy is helplessness, feeling that there's nothing you can do about yourself, nothing you can do about your life, that you can't achieve things that you want to achieve, that you can't accomplish the things you want to accomplish. Time and time again, scientists have shown us that it isn't just stress in our lives that kills us, defeats us, prevents us from achieving what we want. It's not knowing how to deal successfully with stress. It's being helpless, whether we're helpless and afraid, or helpless and stuck in a rotten job or a rotten relationship, or helpless and immobilized and avoiding things, or helpless and not even knowing we're helpless. That's the real enemy. And that's why I chose taking command of life as the focus for these tapes. Because being in command, developing the personality qualities of an in-command person, and knowing how to manage ourselves in our interpersonal relationships, in our work and careers, in our pursuit of money and things and meaning in life, is the only way to be truly successful. So this program isn't something I thought of a few months ago or even a few years ago. It's the culmination of a lifetime of professional work and personal living. And this is reflected in the way I put this program together. It's designed, 4 volumes, 4 major topics, the 4 major areas of your life. For most of you, I suggest you begin at the beginning, a tape a day, or maybe 2 if you want, and proceed step by step from the first tape that you're listening to now to the last. But don't let this suggestion stop you from going back and listening to some of the tapes you've already heard as you move further along in the program, whenever you think it would be helpful to you or illuminating. And if right now you're faced with a serious problem or an exciting opportunity, don't hesitate to begin somewhere in the middle of the program and return later on to start at the beginning. I mean, if you're trying to make a love relationship better right now, or if you've just lost your job and want to rethink your career right now, or if you have financial problems or ambitions and you want to hear about money right now, then feel free to pick up one of the later cassettes in the program right now, and when you're done listening and thinking about what's been said, then move back to start at the beginning. And there's another secret to the design of this program. It's my hope that you'll be coming back to it again and again as your life changes. I mean, maybe right now your primary goal is to develop in-command qualities, and the rest of your life looks pretty okay. In the future, something may go wrong, or a special window of opportunity may present itself in your personal life or at work, and you may want to listen to the tapes again with a new and different need and a new and different ear. Not just listening for information either. I know that some of you will be looking for specific steps you can take to become an in-command person, and I'll be offering you specific steps, how-tos, but I'll also be giving you examples of people who have achieved what you want to achieve, who have found their way out of problems, who have been effective, successful human beings, and a few of them extremely wealthy too. And by wealth, I don't just mean successfully accumulating money in real estate and stocks and bonds and things like that, but really wealthy in all aspects of their lives. And I ask you to listen not only with your mind, but with your heart too. Because changing, learning, is not just an intellectual process. It's a feeling process too. It's not just cognitive, to use a word psychologists have used to describe one approach to changing behavior, or behavioral, another term they use to emphasize the importance of practice in changing how you handle things. It's something more. It's faith. It's believing. It's allowing the spirit of what I'm talking about to reach deep down inside you and stimulate your will to be a better, more powerful, more fulfilled person. To help you unlearn a lot of obsolete and self-defeating notions and replace them with ideas and skills and values that will enable you to turn your life around. And maybe your life doesn't need any turning around. Maybe it's fine as it is. And what you'll get out of the program is personal confirmation. And most importantly, the knowledge and skills you must have to deal with the unexpected. And if there's one thing I can promise you, it's the unexpected. The unexpected crisis, the unexpected window of opportunity that can come along at any time. Because in-command people develop an attitude of readiness. They can deal with the past, and they live in the present, and they are ready for the future, even when they can't be sure what the future holds for them. And maybe right now you're feeling a little self-conscious. You've put this first tape in your player wherever you are, walking around in your car, at home, and maybe you're listening to it with somebody else who's also eager to get his or her life going on the right track. And you're wondering, where is this leading? Does the fact that I've started this program mean there's something wrong with me? I mean, that I don't have these in-command qualities, or that I must be terribly unhappy about my life? The fact is, there is something right with you, because you realize that there is something in your life that can be improved. And I always say to people who come to see me to talk things over that they're the smart ones, because they know they can do something about themselves and their lives, and that there's every reason to feel good about what they're doing. You're someone who knows you've got more potential for living than you're using now. Or, if you're exercising strong potential already, that you've got even a greater goal, a greater ambition beyond. With these tapes, I've included a guidebook for each volume, a specific reference source that will outline and define key words and key ideas that will appear and reappear throughout the program, so that you can become really familiar with them and make them a part of yourself. And some homework, too, if that's your choice. I recommend that you listen to a tape a day. Listen to it once. Listen to it twice, perhaps. Listen to it 3 times, as often as you want to make these ideas a part of your positive way of thinking. Because sometimes when we listen to something a couple of times, we hear different things, different meanings, different emphasis. You'll get more ideas the more you listen. Certain things will hit you a certain way at one time because of how you feel. And another time you may listen to the same tape and something else will strike you because you're feeling different at that moment. So don't necessarily limit yourself to listening to a tape only once and decide that's all you're going to get from it. And keep in mind that this program is all about you, your learning, your growth, your potential. And there's a sequence in the presentation. I begin with self, with you, the person you are, the person you can be, the qualities you need to become an in-command person, the qualities you need to successfully confront change. I mean, everything is changing all around us, all the time, every day, dramatically. Our lives are always changing. Change has become a fact of our very existence on this planet. To deal with change, you're going to have to learn to be creative, which doesn't just mean painting pictures or writing stories or playing the piano, but what it really means is being flexible and able to generate ideas and find solutions to problems for which you haven't been able to find solutions, and have the vision to design your own future and be ready for the unexpected. To think about what you value. Have you ever really sat back and made out an agenda of what you value in your life? Honesty, hard work, success, the people in your life, the work you do? I mean, most of us don't really take the time to reflect on these things. But in this program, I'm going to give you a chance to do just that and reassess your priorities. What's important to you and what isn't, what you don't want and what you do want, and how to achieve your goals once they're clear, really clear in your mind. In the second volume of this program, I'm going to talk about your relationships, especially your love relationships. What makes for a good love relationship, how you can achieve it and maintain it and make it grow over time, and survive the stresses that every relationship is exposed to. And I'm going to help you identify damaging, destructive relationships, which some of you may be caught in right now, and show you how to improve them. And if they can't be improved, point out ways that may help you escape from them to lead a more healthy and meaningful life without them. And not just love in a romantic sense, but also the very important relationships in your life that include the people in your family and how to manage those better, as well as your invaluable friendships. I'm going to talk about your work, your career, finding out what it is that you want to do, what's possible, and moving toward the pursuit of work that's truly the fulfillment of your own personality, your own skills, your own special talents. I'm going to tell you how to overcome obstacles to success, like fear, lack of self-confidence, inertia, lack of a dream, getting out of the work situations that are demoralizing and defeating, starting new jobs and finding new careers for yourself, how to make the job you're in better and more satisfying and bring enthusiasm and excitement to it. And I'm going to tell you how to deal with stress at work more successfully and how to avoid burnout and how to be in command of your work, whether you're working in a large corporation or organization or for a small business or whether you work for yourself. I'm aware of the fact that a great many people turn to programs like this in order for them to find happiness. A great many people turn to programs like this in order for them to learn how to deal with people more successfully. Now, I'll be talking with you about all these things, about developing a mental attitude that can facilitate your ability to achieve financial success, give you the comfort and freedom to think about money and talk about money in a way you may never have felt comfortable about before. And managing your other assets, too, very valuable assets, like your time, more effectively. And in the end, helping you to better understand what you must do to become a truly wealthy person. And maybe that means being rich in the material sense, and maybe it means being wealthy in the very broad and true sense that the word wealthy conveys, with your own definition of what constitutes wealth being what counts for you. I mean, if being wealthy is having a great deal of money, so be it. If being wealthy is having friends, so be it. If being wealthy is loving and being loved, so be it. If being wealthy is having a clear vision of the purpose of your life, if being wealthy is enjoying the best physical and mental health, so be it. If being wealthy is to be proud of yourself and to know how to come back from failure and succeed again, so be it. Because what we really want you to do is to discover true excitement and faith, to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, replace worry with optimism, futility with hope, indifference with enthusiasm. 32 tapes, 32 days, an hour a day. Take this little bit of time now and look on it as an opportunity to examine yourself and your life, a time for reflection, for reinvigoration, to create and go after a personal destiny that has real meaning for you. And by committing yourself to this program, you can be better able to help others too. You can become a valuable role model, a mentor, a better parent, a better boss, a better friend, a better teacher, sharing what you've learned with everybody around you. Being in command. How does that sound to you? Now, doesn't that give you the feeling that you'll be able to get rid of apathy and indifference? That you'll be able to clear your mind of confusion? That you'll be able to overcome chronic discouragement? That you'll be able to deal effectively with the opportunities right there in front of you and go on to achieve success? And that you'll be able to enjoy that success and, in fact, enjoy your whole life? Being in command. I have had my share of failures. I know what it's like to be disappointed, to go through serious reversals. I know what it's like to experience uncertainty and helplessness. And I know how awful that feeling can be. And I know how exciting it is when you feel, I am back in command of myself and of my life again. I know what it is to be confronted with death, the imminent possibility of dying, and the fear that goes along with such an experience. I know what it is to be lonely and alone. I know what it is to have somebody close to me very ill. I know what it is to have people I love die. And I know the other side of the equation too. Because as a doctor and teacher, I've had to reach out to help people in times of trouble, to help them recover their strength and recover their will to live and to be successful again. From my own life experiences and from my professional experiences, I've been able to identify important insights that I want to share with you, insights and strategies that will enable you to become a more self-confident person, a more independent person, someone who has respect for yourself and respect for other people. I want to help you tap the enormous creativity that's in you to design and shape and accomplish a meaningful life. And in doing so, I want to help you overcome fear. So many fears, foolish fears, terrifying fears, fears that have stood in your way and blocked you from moving forward to deal with your life. I want you to develop the courage, the resilience to be able to deal with the changes that will inevitably occur in your life. Good changes, windows of special opportunity. Not so good changes, difficult times, when you may suffer through reverses and losses and become very discouraged and disheartened. To give you a powerful perspective so that you can navigate changes successfully, understand where you are in your own personal life cycle, whether you're young, whether you're a teenager, whether you're a young adult, middle-aged, or getting older. No matter where you are in your life cycle, life will present you with very specific challenges and stresses and opportunities, and I want you to be ready to meet these head-on and prevail. Now, I know that many people turn to programs like this looking for answers. Many of you have done just that. People who are trying to stop smoking or lose weight or overcome an alcohol or drug dependency problem. Some of you may be trying to cope with difficulties in your personal life, like marital unhappiness or unhappiness in love. Some of you are trying to figure out how to get a better job or get out of debt. And whatever your goals may be, I can assure you that the more you're in command of yourself and your life, the better your chances to accomplish any of your goals. This is your first step, your starting point. By taking part in this program, to move toward taking command of yourself, your relationships, your job or career, the material and spiritual goals that you set for yourself. Some years ago, I wrote a book called Choices. It was basically an attempt to outline how people might cope more effectively with the stresses of life by developing a creative approach to living. I called it Choices because it seemed to me that being able to make right choices was perhaps the most critical task anybody has to accomplish to achieve a happy and successful life. I'd like to read you something I wrote in that book. In the life of each of us, there are usually several points at which, because we've achieved a singular level of success, or more often have been brought to our knees by a defeat that humiliates, we're uniquely positioned to make choices that will determine for years to come, for the rest of our lives maybe, which side of the life-death equation we will find ourselves moving toward. At such times we feel a heady kind of freedom born out of accomplishment, or conversely, the kind of freedom that comes from the hopelessness of seeming to have nothing left of what we once valued. And it's at these points in life we must be ready to make a right choice. What comes before, I wrote, is really getting ready. And what comes afterwards depends on how ready we are and what choices we make. The whole purpose of this program is to help you be ready to make the best choices you can possibly make at the various times in your life when you know that these choices are mandated. For better or worse, the course your life will follow will depend in no small measure on the choices you make. It's something most of us seldom take time out to think about in the rush of everyday life. We're so busy counting up figures or putting information into our computers, making travel plans, fixing meals, making phone calls, wondering how we'll pay our bills, worrying about job security and love security, competing, playing golf or tennis, and driving to work and home again to give much thought to what's perhaps the most important thing in our whole life: who we are, where we're going, and why. The famous poet T.S. Eliot once wrote that if there's no peace in the heart, there can be none in the home. And if there's none in the home, there's none in the community. And if none in the community, none in the world. And we can substitute the take command qualities for the word peace. Faith, generosity, confidence, courage, freedom. If there's none in the heart, there can be none anywhere else. So this is where we begin, right here, with you and me, in the pursuit of success and happiness. To help you be free and stay free and become a person making your way towards something that really counts.